For the culture, 2 times for the vultures. I tried to give you meat for wisdom, you couldn't handle the poetry. We want to get closer to God, but couldn't control our pride. Who marked with the mouth of the beast? Who marked with the words of God? I say I never calculated that life would turn to measure this high. I can't pretend even not. I'm blessed to make it this far. I'm connected to Most High, like I blazed up a nice one. They ask me if I'm gonna light one, I smoke not. And if I need to get high off the bounce. I'm rocking with the rock of ages, your squad get denounced. They say it's love, but destruction what the Father's about. We know who chosen, what's the preliminary about? I got some issues, who don't? Man, I'm done with the acting, done with masking my problems just to get satisfaction. From worldviews, I care less what the world views. The whole head is sick, the Bible flushes like they're a flu. Come on, what you been on? I ain't seen you in so long. I hear you preaching the gospel, but damn, where your friends gone? Oh, you ain't know? Judging by your works, I can't have no fellowship with the evil works of the flesh. So yes, I must confess, I'm acting brand new, what you expect? The law is perfect, put up your doctrine, it won't contest. We still the best of the best, we still coasting the coast to reach the people who need the words of the Most High spoken. Yeah, you know we in focus. You know we God's chosen. Yeah. Best of the best, yes. Yeah. Israel, we up next.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to another edition of History in the AM. This morning you got Captain Emmanuel, I got the sub-series, The Kings of Israel, all right? Today will be basically the finale of us dealing with King Solomon. I believe this class number 5 on him, 4 or 5, dealing with Solomon before we transition into the next king, which is his son, right? And also Jeroboam, all right? Rehoboam and Jeroboam will be next. The intro to them will be next. Like I said, this is basically the finale of King Solomon, and the title is Simping Solomon. Now, you know, I'm not, I ain't trying to dishonor my forefather, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The reason why the title is due to his own words. We gonna read it. We gonna read it later on in the class this morning. But let's open up with Romans chapter 15 and verse 4, dealing with Simping Solomon. All right, let's read that. Romans 15 verse 4.
The book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 4.
Come on.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
So whatsoever things was written aforetime, including the errors, the downfalls of our forefathers, it was written for our learning. So one of our forefathers had definitely, well, a few. The first one actually was some examples of simping. And what I mean by that is losing your honor, your glory, everything you labor for, your reputation, losing that due to women. Following after women. You understand? And for us in the last days, we got to take heed. Remember in Revelation, it say about that 144, these are they which were not defiled with women. So what we reading was written for our learning. We got to go through this. We got to study this. All right, read on.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope.
Through patience and comfort of the scriptures, we might have hope. Hope for what? Hope to overcome what our forefathers were not able to, right? Through study and application. So now, the reign of King Solomon, right? These days now, we go over the dates, right? For every king as we go through them, right? But if you haven't written it down by now, is his reign dates from approximately 970 BC to 930 BC. So, of course, with this being towards the end, we're looking at, 940s, 930s BC, all right, in terms of what we're going to read through today. So now let's go to Sirach 47:13. We go here just about every class dealing with Solomon, but it always, pinpoints the particular subject that we're going to deal with for that day. So Sirach 47:13.
The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 47 and verse 13. Solomon reigned in a peaceable time.
Read.
And was honored, for God made all quiet round about him, that he might build an house in his name and prepare his sanctuary forever.
So his father David, he fought many wars, fought many battles, had many enemies, but he caused Solomon to have peace so he could be able to build that house for his name with no problem, with no interference. Right? Read on.
How wise wast thou in thy youth, and as a flood filled with understanding.
Right. So we covered there. We dealt with the wisdom of Solomon, the level of wisdom that he had. And also, last time, right, we left off covering how Bathsheba, she came and she witnessed all the wisdom and she lost her damn consciousness. She fell out, right? Go ahead.
Thy soul covered the whole earth.
Bathsheba, I mean Queen of Sheba. But go ahead. Bathsheba was a mama. But go ahead.
Thy soul covered the whole earth, and thou filledest it with dark parables.
Meaning he had influence over the whole earth. All the kings of the earth wondered at the wisdom of Solomon. Go ahead.
Thy name went forward unto the islands, and for thy peace was thou beloved.
Read.
The countries marveled at thee for thy songs, and proverbs, and parables, and interpretations.
Come on.
By the name of the Lord God, which is called the Lord God of Israel, thou didst gather gold as tin, and didst multiply silver as lead.
Right. We went over that as well. The amount of riches that he obtained. Go ahead.
Thou didst bow thy loins unto women.
But after all that wisdom, all that influence over the earth, all the songs, the proverbs, interpretations, the riches, he did what?
Thou didst bow thy loins unto women.
Read.
And by thy body thou wast brought into subjection.
He was brought into subjection by way of the woman. Damn. All right. He did is bow his loins into women. All that wisdom could not stop him from getting the power that P. Damn. All right, let's go to 1 Ezra chapter 4. So let's look at some wisdom that our forefathers had. Now, this was Zerubbabel. This was post-Solomon. All right? But let's take a look at this. Now, what's going on is it was basically a contest, right, between three of the men's bodyguards, and they will receive a prize. They will be looked at as the king's cousin and all that, right? And Zerubbabel would be the last one to speak. The first one spake of the power of wine. The second one spake of the power of the king. And Solomon spake of the power of women, but most of all the truth, right? So watch this. Read 1 Ezra chapter 4, verse 2. So this was the second man who spoke on the power of the king. 1 Ezra chapter 4, verse 2.
The book of 1 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 2.
Read.
O ye men, do not men excel in strength, that bear rule over sea and land, in all things in them? But yet the king is more mighty.
Read.
For he is Lord of all these things, and hath dominion over them. And whatsoever he commanded them, they do.
So in this man's eyes, wasn't nothing more mighty, or nothing had more dominion than the king. But let's see what our forefather understood. Jump down to verse 12. Well, read verse 12 real quick.
Verse 12. O ye men, how should not the king be mightiest, when in such sort he is obeyed, and he held his tongue?
Right. So he thought that he hit the hammer on the head. He knew he won the contest by explaining how powerful the king was. After all, he's giving his spiel to the king. So he really kind of stroking the king ego at the same time, like king ain't no who got more dominion than you, right? Well, watch this. Read 14.
Verse 14.
Go ahead.
O ye men, is it not the great king?
He not asking. Read it again.
O ye men, it is not the great king,
Read.
nor the multitude of men, neither is it wine that excelleth.
So it's not wine like the first man said, and it's not the king that the second man said. Read.
Who is it then that ruleth them, or hath the lordship over them?
Who got the lordship over the king? Who got the lordship over all the things in the earth? Read.
Are they not women?
Are they not what?
Are they not women?
Wait a minute. So Zerubbabel, you dropping some gems. In this world, in this carnal world, nothing has more power than the woman. And that P. Keep reading.
Verse 15. Women have borne the king and all the people.
Yeah, a woman gave birth to the king. Read.
That bear rule by sea and land.
Now jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18.
Come on.
Yea, and if men have gathered together gold and silver.
Like we read about Solomon. It said he multiplied gold and silver as 10 and lead, right? As if it was nothing. That's how much he had in abundance. Go ahead.
Or any other goodly thing.
Read.
Do they not love a woman?
So they would have all that, but the love of a woman would exceed all those riches that could get you whatever your heart desired. The love of a woman would exceed that. Read.
Which is comely in favor in beauty.
Come on.
And letting all those things go, do they not gape? And even with open mouth fix their eyes fast on her.
So they would let all that go and have their eyes fixed fast on that woman. Read on.
And have not all men more desire unto her than unto silver or gold or any goodly thing whatsoever.
So he telling you it wasn't no amount of riches Solomon could have had of any king ever that could stop you from giving your damn heart to a woman or women. All right, jump down to 22.
Verse 22.
Read.
By this also you must know that women have dominion over you.
Sheesh.
Do ye not labor and toil and give and bring all to the women?
I'm telling you, bruh, in this carnal world, the reason why men dry themselves to succeed and dress nice and get the fresh haircuts and do the overtime so they get the nice car and get the, you know what I'm saying? It be all for the woman, y'all. It be all for the woman. Real talk. Unless he gay. Jump down to verse 26.
Verse 26.
Watch this.
Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
Lost their damn mind. They could have had a wise mind. It be many that run out of their wits for women. Come on.
And become servants for their sakes.
Read.
Many also have perished, many also have perished, have erred, and sinned for women.
Read on.
And now do ye not believe me? Is not the king great in his power?
So now Zerubbabel finna make an excellent point by way of example right in front of everybody as he's speaking. Read.
Do not all regions fear to touch him?
So all regions fear to touch this king. But watch this. Read.
Yet did I see him in upon the king's concubine, the daughter of the admiral Bardacus, sitting at the right hand of the king.
Read.
And taking the crown from the king's head.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So this is something that happened in real life, which was just something that had happened. But this is a spiritual representation. This is, remember, the things written aforetime was written for our learning, right? Christ is the King of Kings. So we all striving to overcome and be crowned by the King himself. You understand, like you read about in 2 Ezra chapter 2. But he warned us in Revelation 3. He said, let no man take thy crown. Right here, you're reading about what causes a lot of men, wise men, mighty men, kings, to lose their crown. Read verse 30 again.
And taking the crown from the king's head.
Read.
And setting it upon her own head.
Damn. Ooh. That's cold. That's cold right there. Read on.
She also struck the king with her left hand.
She smacked the king with her pimp hand. The hell is this? The left. Read, disrespectful. Read on.
And yet for all this, the king gaped and gazed upon her with open mouth.
So the king didn't flash out. He ain't put her in her place. He, oh my God. Read on.
If she laughed upon him, he laughed also.
Read.
But if she took any displeasure at him, the king was fain to flatter.
He did anything to make her. Ain't that what 50 Cent said? I do anything to make you smile. That's what the king did. Read on.
That she might be reconciled to him again.
He did whatever. He went out of his wits to get her back in his, well, to get himself back in her good graces. Read.
O ye men, how can it be but women should be strong, seeing they do thus?
Right. So he made an excellent point, because the brother before him, like I said, mentioned the power and dominion of the king, and he had that excellent example, like, but look at what happened with your king. Who took the crown off his head? Who smacked him with the left hand? And then nothing happened to her. The damn woman. But he went on to explain how through the truth you can conquer all things, right? That's why the things written aforetime written for our learning. But now go to Wisdom of Solomon 7-21. So this was Zerubbabel, which was post Solomon, but this does not mean that Solomon did not have that same wisdom and understanding that the brother was explaining about women. Solomon knew better. Watch this. Read that.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 21.
We read this almost every time we go over Solomon too. Read that.
And all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know.
So the Most High, in the amount of knowledge and wisdom that he gave Solomon, Solomon knew everything, whether it was secret or manifest. He knew, he understood, right? So you best believe we gonna prove it. He knew better than to do what he did. You understand? Bowing his loins into women and thereby falling into subjection. He knew better, right? But, you know, when you a simp, you know, watch this, right? 37 and 19. Unfortunately, this is what happens to a lot of mighty men, right? From the literally the beginning of time, literally all the way to this day. Y'all really don't even really just know. Y'all, yeah, I'm telling you, y'all just don't know. Read that verse.
The book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37 and verse 19.
Come on.
There is one that is wise and teacheth many.
So you'll have a man that's wise, teach many. He'll have books in the Bible. He'll have the greatest, mightiest classes. He'll be the most powerful teacher on the street. You understand? He'll be the wisest brother you done met. He wise, he teach many. He know better than whatever he would fall into. He probably done a series on it, on not to do it. But read on.
And yet is unprofitable to himself.
But yet still unable to stop himself from doing what he knows he ought not to. You understand? That happens with a lot of us. It happened with a lot of our forefathers. Today we dealing with Solomon. He is a prime example of what we just read. Now go to Proverbs chapter 1. Like I said, we're going to prove it. We're going to bag that up. Proverbs chapter 1, start at verse 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Read.
The proverb of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel.
Read.
To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, and the young man knowledge and discretion.
Excuse me. So Solomon in the book of Proverbs, he provided all of this out of the wisdom that the Lord gave him, right? He was able to give knowledge, subtlety, you understand, wisdom, eloquence, all of these things he provided with this book. And within this book, he harped on one particular thing many times. Let's go to chapter 2, verse 10.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 2 and verse 10.
Come on.
When wisdom entereth into thine heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee.
Keep thee from what? Jump down to 16.
Verse 16.
Uh-huh.
To deliver thee from the strange woman.
So understanding is able to deliver you from the strange woman. Now that word strange woman primarily means heathen woman. Heathen woman, a woman of the strange nations. Understanding is able to keep you from her. This is Solomon telling us this. Read.
Even from the stranger, which flattereth with her words.
Come on.
Which forsaketh the God of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her
She
God.
don't follow God. Read.
For her house inclineth unto death,
Read.
and her paths unto the dead.
Go ahead.
None that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life.
So this is Solomon. He knows the end of dealing or falling into subjection to a strange woman. You understand? Now this also has a spiritual layer to it, but he is indeed dealing with the subject of falling into heathen women's subjection. All right, go to chapter 5. Chapter 5, verse 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 5 and verse 1. My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thy ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as in honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil.
Right, he said the lips of a strange woman, woo, she know how to talk. She, me so honey. You know, the more about, I don't want to get into all the heathen women like accents. I ain't got to do it. Y'all know, but Solomon put us on game way back then. Right? Go ahead.
But her end is bitter as wormwood.
But her end is bitter as wormwood. That's twofold, right? Going into, like he explained, her path's end to death. But also, here, you'll catch some from her back end. You understand? For real, you'll catch some. Go ahead.
Sharp as a two-edged sword.
Read.
Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell.
That's the latter end of dealing with that strange woman. Read on.
Lest thou shouldest ponder the paths of life. Her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them.
Read.
Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth.
Read.
Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the doors of her
He
house.
says, stay the hell away from that strange woman. Go ahead.
Lest thou give thine honor unto other, and thy years unto the cruel.
Right, because if you fall into subjection to her, you'll give your honor unto others, meaning to the other nations. You will lose your inheritance. Go ahead.
Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth,
The other nations will be filled with your wealth. Read.
and thy labors be in the house of a stranger.
Everything you work for be in the house of that stranger. Go ahead.
And thou mourn at the last, when thy flesh and thy body are
When
consumed.
you dead. Read.
And say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof?
Because obviously Solomon was taught this, right? Solomon is teaching this, right? So he's saying this is how you'll end up if you fall into subjection to the strange woman. Like, damn, why did I not listen to what I was taught? Go ahead.
And have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to them that instructed me.
Now hold that. Let's jump in time just to see something. 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 6. Because yes, Solomon, he most definitely was blessed by the Spirit of the Lord to know all things, whether they were secret or manifest. He had wisdom. However, he still had counselors. Let's read that.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 12, and verse 6.
Go ahead.
And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father,
Read.
while he yet lived, and said, how do you advise that I may answer this people?
So like I said, we jumped in time. This is Solomon's son, but it said he consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father. What is this showing us? That Solomon had counselors. Solomon had people that would advise him. You understand? So you got to imagine, as we're going to read, as Solomon multiplied all these wives and got them going off and seeking after their gods, you don't think that these men were telling Solomon, bruh, you going off. You understand? And Solomon is telling you, though, you will look back and be like, damn, I ain't listened to the voice of my teachers. He telling you what ultimately ended up happening to him. All right, go back to Proverbs chapter 5. Let's read verse 15.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 5, and verse 15.
Read.
Drink waters out of thine own cistern.
Right. So a cistern is a vessel that holds water, but that's figurative, right? He's talking about marrying within your race, right? Watch this. Read on.
And running waters out of thine own well.
Out of your own well. Read.
Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, in rivers of waters in the streets.
Meaning what? Reproduce. Be fruitful and multiply. Read.
Let them be only thine own.
But read it again.
Let them be only thine own.
Let your seed be only your own. Read on.
And not strangers with thee.
And not what?
Strangers with thee.
So this is his advice. This is his counsel. You understand? Be fruitful and multiply, but do not do it with strangers. Jump down to verse 20 and let you know what he's talking about. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger?
All these beautiful Israelite women. Why would you embrace the bosom of a stranger? Why you need the Edomite backside for when you got the Israelite woman? I mean, why would you embrace the bosom of a stranger? This was Solomon saying. Go to chapter 6, verse 23.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light.
Read.
And reproofs of instruction are the way of life.
Come on.
To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman.
Of a what?
Of a strange woman.
So this is Solomon telling us the law is able to keep you from the flattery of a strange woman. This is Solomon's counsel. Go to chapter 7 and verse 4.
Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 4.
Read.
Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman.
So what? Read.
That they may keep thee from the strange woman.
That wisdom and understanding will keep you from the strange woman. Read.
From the stranger which flattereth with her words.
Jump down to verse 24.
Verse 24.
Come on.
Hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth.
Read.
Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths. For she hath cast down many wounded.
Read.
Yea, many strong men have been slain by her.
You can't make this up. Solomon is giving a warning. Many strong men have been slain by her. This is what he knows. He's wise and he's teaching many. Read on.
Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death.
Go to chapter 22, verse 14. Chapter 22, verse 14.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 14.
Go ahead.
The mouth of a strange woman is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein.
Sheesh. Go to chapter 23, verse 26.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 26.
Go ahead.
My son, give me thine heart, and let thine eyes observe my ways.
Read.
For in whore is a deep ditch.
Read.
And a strange woman.
A what?
A strange woman.
Read.
Is a narrow pit.
It's a narrow pit. How you gonna climb out of that? How you gonna climb out of that? You understand? You're gonna end up in a very, very, what they say, you in between a rock and a hard place. That's a very sticky predicament. You understand? It's almost impossible without help. It is impossible to get out of that type of hole. You understand? But Solomon knows that that is what a strange woman will lead to. Dealing with a strange woman. Now watch this. Go to chapter 31. Because I mentioned that we know King David, his father, taught him, right? These, the things of the law. You can read about that in 1 Kings chapter 2. David advised him, make sure you show yourself a man by walking in the ways of the Lord, the law, statutes, and commandments. But Solomon's mother also taught him concerning women. Watch this. Read verse 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31 and verse 1.
Come on.
The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him.
Lemuel is just one of Solomon's nicknames. Jump down to verse 3.
Verse 3. Give not thy strength unto women.
So this is not a misogynistic male. You understand? This is not a man that hates women and bashes women. This is a damn woman. You understand? This the same woman that Solomon daddy slipped up and broke God's commandments for. Listen, don't make the same mistake your daddy made. Give not your strength unto women. This is what his mama taught him, y'all. Read on.
Nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings.
Where is she knew? The women is able to destroy kings. She knew this. This is what she taught her son, Solomon. You understand? Now watch this. Go to chapter 22, verse 3. Solomon also said this, and this is why the title is what it is. Watch. Read what you got.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself.
So Solomon is telling us a prudent man will foresee the evil. Like he's telling you, you deal with a strange woman, you fall for her smooth tongue. You're gonna end up dying, you're gonna end up in hell, you're gonna end up. He's telling you. According to his knowledge, he foresees the consequences of falling in subjection to strange women. But read on.
But the simple.
But the what?
But the simple.
But the simp. Read.
Pass on and are punished.
The simple just, he know better but don't do better. He foresee the evil, and for some reason, he don't hide himself. He don't avoid it. He don't abstain. You understand? He go head first like a sheep to the slaughter. You understand? It's showing you Solomon was simping. Let's get that. 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. Simping Solomon. Damn. Read.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1.
Come on.
But King Solomon loved many strange women.
You see how the chapter start off with but, because 1 Kings from 3 all the way to 10 is telling you about the glory of Solomon, all the wisdom, how he built the temple, how he built other houses, including the house for who we finna read about in a second, right? But, you know, after all that, it's a but. You know, anything come after but stink. So it said King Solomon loved many strange women. Now, we read about what, 10 scriptures about him telling us about the damn strange woman. Then we go here and it seems Solomon loved many strange. Will I be damned? There's one that's wise and teaching many, but is unprofitable to himself. Things written the 4th time written for our learning. Don't let that be you. Don't let that. I don't want that to be me, because I know it can. I ain't stupid. I ain't slow. Hell, I ain't got all the wisdom Solomon had. So I know it can happen to me. Boy, I pray to God, Lord, give me the strength. Hit the Heisman. Make my Heisman hand strong, Lord. In the name of Jesus, I'm telling you. Because, hey, read on.
Together with the daughter of Pharaoh.
So he loved many strange women in addition to the daughter of Pharaoh that we read about way back in chapter 3. Now remember, and we're going to read it, the Lord appeared unto Solomon twice. You understand? And Solomon was still unable to put away that kink in his armor. That's not the kink, the chink. Ain't that the terminology? The chink in his armor? Yeah. He was unable to put that thing away. He was like, I can't have this heathen in the temple. You understand? So he built her a house separately to dwell in, but he still, even though he knew the laws, and we gonna show that it's in the law, he knew the law, not to deal with her, but he just cannot put that thing away. And he added unto his heathen woman repertoire. You understand? Many strange women. Read.
Women of the Moabites.
Moabite women. Hell, with Asian persuasion. Go ahead.
Ammonites.
Read.
Edomites.
And a damn white girl. Solomon had him some redheads, some blondies, some brunettes. Read on.
Sidonians and Hittites.
Right, and Africans. Read.
Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them.
So this precept is heavy because and I'm gonna explain why. But it says, in verse 1, it says, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, you shall not go into them. Read on.
Neither shall they come in unto you.
Uh-huh.
For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love.
So let's go and read this law real quick. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Let's start at verse 1. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and has cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites,
Read.
and the Girgashites,
Read.
and the Amorites, and the Canaanites,
Uh-huh.
and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Because these 7 nations in particular inhabited our land, the land of Canaan, right? They were all descendants of Ham. They inhabited the land of Canaan before God delivered us out of Egypt to obtain our land, right? So we said, once you get to this land, right, and you cast out these nations, read on.
And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them.
Thou shalt what?
Smite them.
Read.
And utterly destroy them.
Come on.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Come on.
Nor show mercy unto them.
Read.
Thou shalt not make marriages with them.
Neither thou shalt what?
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
So the Lord said, don't make marriages with them. Go ahead.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son,
Read.
nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
So it's not permissible for your son to marry their women. Neither is it permissible for your women to marry their sons. Go ahead.
For they will turn away thy son from following me.
That's the primary reason. I'm not their God. So if you're in bed with those other nations who I'm not the God of, they are capable of turning you away from me. Go ahead.
That they may serve other gods.
And they will provoke you to serve their gods, their idols. Read on.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
So that was a warning, right? That's what was quoted in 1 Kings chapter 11 concerning Solomon. The Lord commanded this to the children of Israel. Don't give your sons to their daughters. Don't give your daughters to their sons, because they will turn you away to other gods. Now, like I said, it was heavy about the precept in 1 Kings. It lists Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, other nations outside of the Hamite nations that we read about, these 7 in Deuteronomy chapter 7, right? Showing you, because, you know, Negroes that want a damn jungle fever, they want an Asian persuasion, they'll go to this and be like, these the only nations we can't lay down with right here. Hey, in 1 Kings chapter 11, he said that this law that we read in Deuteronomy 7 not only applied to those 7 nations, it applied to the heathen, period. The Edomites, Moabites, Ammonites, all of them. You understand? Those were the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded the children of Israel not to intermarry with. All right? So now go to Joshua chapter 23 in verse 12.
The book of Joshua, chapter 23 in verse 12.
Go ahead.
Else, if ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you.
Come on.
Know for certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you.
The Lord ain't going to give you power to drive them out no more. Go ahead.
But they shall be snares and traps unto you.
They shall be what?
Snares and traps unto you.
They're going to influence you to serve their gods. They're going to influence you to commit iniquity. Go ahead.
And scourges in your sides.
Read.
And thorns in your eyes.
So you going to have to you gonna go through painful inflictions because of your dealings with them. This is what the Lord is admonishing us during the time of Joshua. Go ahead.
Until ye perish from off this good land which the Lord your God hath given you.
So intermarrying with the other nations will lead to the Lord kicking you out of the land, causing you to perish from the promised land. This was a warning way back in the time of Joshua. Now let's go to First Esdras. Let's go post Solomon again. Let's go to our forefathers, right? That was post Solomon and what they understood, what they were able to infer based on the law of Moses. Watch this. Read what you got.
The book of First Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 69.
Come on.
The nation of Israel, the princes and the priests and Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land.
The what?
The strange people of the land.
The same strange people that Solomon warned about. Go ahead.
Nor the pollutions of the Gentiles, to wit, of the Canaanites, Hittites, Pharisees, Jebusites.
So those four are some of the 7 that we read about in Deuteronomy 7. But watch this, though. Read on.
And the Moabites.
And the Moabites. Read.
Egyptians.
And the Egyptians. Read.
And Edomites.
So those 3 nations wasn't mentioned in the 7 in Deuteronomy chapter 7. Right? But those are being listed here. Watch this. Read on.
For both they and their sons have married with their daughters.
So during that time, during Ezra's time, under the Persian rule, you had priests marrying with the daughters of Moabites, Egyptians, Edomites, and the Hamite nations, right? Read on.
And the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land.
So the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land, meaning they was intermingling, they was busting nuts and having kids with the strange people of the land. Read on.
And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men.
The rulers and the great men have what?
Have been partakers of this iniquity.
Of this what?
Iniquity.
So interracial marriage is what, brothers and sisters? Iniquity. That's what our forefathers understood based on Deuteronomy 7, and it didn't just apply to those 7. It was of the Gentiles, period, the other nations, period. Any nation outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, it is iniquity to intermarry with them. Now let's go to one of Ezra's contemporaries. Go to Nehemiah 13. Our forefathers did not play that. Nehemiah 13, verse 23.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 23.
Go ahead.
In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab.
Right. So they married wives of the Philistines, of Moab, and Ammon. Go ahead.
And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod,
Read.
and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people.
So he going into the effects, right, that interracial marriage has on our children. That's why, even though the seed goes through the father, if an Israelite man has a baby with a heathen woman, it's still going to be an Israelite. However, that child is subject to confusion. Remember, the mothers have authority over the sons. The mothers are the one nursing and raising those kids primarily, because the father, he goes out to war or he works or, et cetera, et cetera. So the mother is teaching the child how to speak, right? The fundamentals of life. So the young child leans toward the influence of the mother. So by these men having babies with the heathen nations, these babies was growing up and speaking the languages of the foreign nations. So don't you think you're inclined to, if you're speaking the heathen nations, you're going to gravitate to the heathen culture and gravitate towards the heathen God? You see what I'm saying? It's a rabbit hole. Same thing. It's still the same danger. You have a baby with a white girl. You understand? They got a white side of the family. It's a little bit harder for them to accept that they mama and them, who they love dearly, they mama, they papa. You understand? Who they love dearly, who they know for a fact they good people. They don't deserve slavery. You understand? That was in their mind. They got good hair because of them. You understand? Like, I'm telling you, it's a dangerous game having these babies with these heathen women. And if a woman have a baby with a heathen man, you had a damn heathen baby. You understand? You partaking in the damn extinction of our race. Right? The heathen's ultimate goal. So that's even worse. But these are the dangers of our men having babies with heathen women, mingling our holy seed. Read on.
Verse 25. And I contended with them.
So this pissed Nehemiah off. He said, I contended with them. Watch this.
And cursed them.
And what?
And cursed them.
And cursed them. He got to talking bad. Read.
And smote certain of them.
And then he got to lay hands on them. Read on.
And plucked off their hair.
He got to, Nehemiah was spazzing the hell out. Sheesh. I'm telling you, that's the type of masculinity that's needed in the leaders today. Nehemiah laying hands on them. What the hell? What the hell wrong with you? The hell? That damn Moabite. The hell wrong with you, nigga? Nehemiah wasn't playing. Nehemiah was roughing brothers up. Cussing them out all that. Read on.
And made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves.
Imagine Nehemiah holding you by the neck. What swear, God, you gonna start this interracial? What swear? Say it right now. Say it. I swear, Nehemiah. Let me get out. I swear, Nehemiah. I'm telling you, bro, our forefathers was not playing. That's the spirit right there, boy. That's the spirit. I'll pray. Now, I'm not saying, brothers, you leadership, you junior leadership coming up, you can put your hands on, brother. Don't do that. You might get shot. But, you know, don't do that. But we was, you know, and the Persians gave our liberty and gave us liberty to be in our land. We had that type of liberty. You know what I'm saying? We was able to regulate, police ourselves to an extent. And that's how we was rocking back then. All right? Nehemiah was not playing them games. Them damn Jungle Fever brothers, he was giving their ass the beats. Read on.
Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things?
Wait a minute. This is why Nehemiah's spazzing out like this. Let's put it into perspective, right? During the time of Nehemiah, what has happened? We went through the Babylonian captivity. We lost our land. Our temple was destroyed. Our walls were broken down. The Lord sends the Persian king Cyrus, beginning with him, and then latter kings of the Persians as well. The Lord put the spirit on them to allow our forefathers, a remnant, to return and rebuild the walls that were broken down. That's Nehemiah's whole objective. But you get allowed back to the land to rebuild it, meaning you need the Lord to prosper that and protect you from the nations coming back and destroying it. But then you got brothers doing the same thing that caused the kingdom to be lost in the first place. So you can understand Nehemiah's frustration why he pulling brothers' hair out. You know what I'm saying? Smacking them all upside their damn head. You can understand now. He like, you being completely counterproductive. You understand? To the mission. You gonna put us right back into slavery. Didn't King Solomon sin by it? You forgot about King Solomon? He sinned by interracial marriage. Read on.
Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel.
There was never a king as marvelous, as brilliant as Solomon. But watch this, read.
Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin.
You know what outlandish women mean? Foreign women. You notice how brothers be getting rich. You know what I'm saying? That's like a spirit in our, it's like the inner Solomon of niggas. Niggas get a big contract either with a record label or a damn ball team, and they go get a foreign car and a foreign broad to match it. It never fail. I got a foreign car. I got a foreign broad. Foreign. You understand? Outlandish women. Women from another land. That caused our for even with all the wisdom, as beloved as he was, that caused him to go to hell off. Read on.
Verse 27. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil?
What did Nehemiah call interracial marriage?
Great evil.
This great evil. So if you watching and you got an Asian woman, a white woman, an Hamite woman, an Ishmaelite woman, if you got one of them, just know, according to the Bible, that is a great evil. Read on.
To transgress against our God.
Read.
And marrying strange wives.
So you can't get no more cut and dry than that, plain than that. And all that's based on Deuteronomy 73. You understand? That is a great sin when you marry strange wives. And ain't no such thing as, well, what if you convert her like Boaz did, Ruth and hell no. You understand? Thou shalt not marry a woman of a strange nation. Get that in Malachi chapter 2. Malachi was also in the Persian captivity towards the end thereof. Let's read that. Malachi 2 and 11.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2 and verse 11.
Read.
Judah hath dealt treacherously, and an abomination is committed in Israel and in Jerusalem.
Read.
But Judah had profaned the holiness of the Lord which he loved.
Read.
And had married the daughter of a strange God.
Had married what?
The daughter of a strange God.
So Judah was dealing treacherously back then. You understand? It's nothing new. They continue to deal treacherously by marrying heathen women. Read on.
The Lord will cut off the man that doeth this.
What the Bible say?
The Lord will cut off the man that doeth this.
So remember, we read about King Solomon today. Say the Lord will cut off the man that does this. Read on.
The master and the scholar out of the tabernacles of Jacob.
And it's funny that he named it the master and the scholar. People that's wise and teach many. Somehow this is always that chink in the armor. You want to dibble and dabble with other nations of women. This is crazy. The master and the scholar. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. The successful, intelligent Negro wants to deal with outlandish women. I guess they get to such a high level of intelligence, they don't want to deal with, you know. What does it say in Isaiah 3? Because I know we talk about the Babylonian black woman. We know that the black woman today was created in America. They cloned Tyrone and Tamika, right? But back then, when we was in the land, Isaiah 3, that was talking about the women back then. He said the daughters of Zion are haughty, stretch forth necks, one-time eyes, tinkling with the feet. You know, they had the attitude way back then, during the time of the kings. You understand? So I guess, hey, brothers, You know, the women of the other nations, maybe they would just feel more quiet. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But they served other gods. They was evil, wicked as hell. So it was not permissible by any means anyway. You understand? But read on.
And him that offereth an offering unto the Lord of hosts.
It don't matter how many offerings you offered up. If you were still sacrificing, guess what? The Lord was still going to cut you off for that. Read on.
And this have ye done again concerning the altar of the Lord with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regardeth not the offering any more, or receiveth it with good will at your hand.
And the Lord said, I ain't taking y'all offering no more. Y'all offering the offerings and then going lay down with a heathen woman that's offering to another god. The hell I look like? The hell y'all take me for? Read on.
Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth.
So you would say, why has the Lord not accepted my offering? And he telling you because he witnessed between thee and the wife of your youth. The wife of your youth is that Israelite woman that he brought out of the land of Egypt with you. You understand? That Israelite woman that went through all the captivities and all that with you. He saw how you dealt with the wife of your youth. Read.
Against whom thou have dealt treacherously.
Against whom you have dealt treacherously. Listen, at the end of the day, I know, she got issues. You know what I'm saying? All women do. But ain't none of these heathen women go through slavery with you. Get tossed to and fro on the damn ships with you. Get your ass whipped and chained on the plant to get raped. You understand? With you, for you, taken from you. No other nation of women endured that with you. You understand? But we dealt treacherously. When it mean to deal treacherously, that mean to betray somebody. You understand? Brothers get high up, high esteem, and then leave the same woman that brought them in the world. The women that look like they mother, they grandma. You understand? That's dealing treacherously. The Lord always despised that thing. He was never with that. Read on.
Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant.
She is the wife of your covenant. The Israelite woman is under the covenant of God, not the other nations. But you despise that Israelite woman, the wife of your covenant. Read.
And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit.
Read.
And wherefore one?
Watch this.
That he might seek a godly seed.
The Lord wants a godly seed. How do you ensure a godly seed? An Israelite man along with an Israelite wife. You understand? You got an Israelite man, with an Edomite wife. That child can grow up and lean to white Jesus. If you got an Israelite man and a Moabite wife, that Israelite child can grow up and lean to Buddha. You understand? So the Lord wants a godly seed. A godly seed is ensured with a marriage of Israel and Israel. You understand? Therefore, there will be no confusion, no uncleanness with the child. Read on.
Therefore, take heed to your spirit.
Do what?
Take heed to your spirit.
So he telling the Israelite man, take heed to your damn spirit. Think about Kanye West. He said, just like Solomon, how he warned about the strange woman, Kanye West said notoriously, and when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. This nigga got on and got with a white girl. Even to this day, after he get on, yeah, we the real 12 tribes of Judah. Looking at he got on all these platforms saying that we the Israel. He know that we the descendants of King Solomon them. You understand? I'm pretty sure he's aware of King Solomon's transgressions. And this nigga still to this day is with a white girl. He got him a new white girl. Yes, look it up. You can't make this up, bro. God said, take heed to your spirit. Read.
And let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
Against the Israelite woman. Let no Israelite man deal treacherously. Turn your back on the Israelite woman. All right. Tobit 4 verse 12. Tobit chapter 4 verse 12. It's not only treacherous towards her, it's treacherous towards your nation as a whole. Read that.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4 and verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife.
So this is what Tobit is teaching Tobias. Do not take a strange woman to wife. Read.
Which is not of thy father's tribe.
Which is not of your father's tribe, because back then you had to marry within your tribe to retain the inheritance of your land. You understand? So, hell, that's how serious it was back then. Read on.
For we are the children of Jacob.
No.
Excuse me. For we are the children of the prophets.
We are the children of the prophets. Who are the prophets?
Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
We the children of the prophets, guys. Read on.
Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning.
What?
Our fathers from the beginning.
From the beginning of what book tells you about the beginning? Genesis. Our fathers in Genesis. Read.
Even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land.
So let's hold that. Let's get it just real quick. Get Genesis 25:34. Just some examples. Well, really an example, right? Genesis 26:34. Read that.
The book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 34.
Go ahead.
And Esau was
And who?
And Esau.
So Esau was the son of Isaac, right? The brother of Jacob. Read.
Was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Berai the Hittite.
The what?
The Hittite.
The Hittite. Read.
And Bashemoth, the daughter of Elon the Hittite.
So he took 2 Hittite wives. Read.
Which were a grief of mine unto Isaac and to Rebekah.
That grieved the minds of his parents, who knew better, who did not teach him to do that. And like, oh my God, this damn Esau. He wants to try that in a small town. He just wants to you understand? He want to go outside. For real. Watch this. Go to chapter 27 and verse 46.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 46.
Let's see how much it grieved them. Read.
And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life.
I am what?
I am weary of my
I
life.
am weary of my life. I'm stressed out. Why?
Because of the daughters of Heth.
Because of the daughters of Heth that Esau married. I got some damn African daughters-in-law. What the hell is this? She wasn't feeling that. Read on.
If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth,
If Jacob married some damn Hittite women, read.
such as these which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me?
Rebecca said, I'd rather die than both of my sons marry them nasty ass Hamite women. Jeez, this was serious. Solomon knew all this though. Go to chapter 28, verse 1. Just continuing on. Read.
Genesis chapter 28 and verse 1. And Isaac called Jacob.
So after this conversation Isaac had with Rebekah, he called Jacob. Go ahead.
And blessed him and charged him and said,
charged his son. Read.
Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
That Deuteronomy 7 before Deuteronomy 7. You hear me? Take not a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Read on.
Arise, go to Padan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father.
Read.
And take thee a wife from thence.
Read.
Of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother.
Right, get you a Hebrew sister. Read on.
And God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people.
That's how the Lord wants to multiply us, right? With the godly seed, with a woman of our kinsmen, not a strange woman. You understand? That grieved our forefathers whenever their children would go off and do interracial marriage. You understand? I ain't gonna lie. I love my mama to death. But one of the only things that she taught me that aligned with the Bible, you understand? She always told me, don't you ever bring no damn white girl to my damn house. I'm telling you. For real. That is a grief, even in the world, for a lot. I ain't gonna, some don't give a damn. You understand it, what it is. But a lot of us, we know, you understand, our mama, they wasn't with that. They was not with that. Because that's kind of a slap in their face. I was the first woman to embrace you, to hug you, to kiss you. And you choose to spend the rest of your life with something that looks the complete opposite of me, something that's a disconnect. That's like a slap in their face. You understand? Real talk. For real. Now watch this. Go to go back to Tobit. Yeah, Tobit 4. Let's read 13 now. After he charged Tobias, do not marry a strange woman. He expounds. Read.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse 13.
Read.
Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren.
Love your people. Read.
And despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them.
This is a heavy precept. What is Tobit saying? He's saying by taking a wife of another nation, that's showing hatred for your people. You understand? He said, despise not your brethren by taking a wife that's not of them. You understand? That shows that you despise your people. It's something within you. It's some type of discord between you and the love of your neighbors. Excuse me, point blank, period. Read on.
For in pride is destruction and much trouble.
Read.
And in lewdness is decay.
Lewdness is nastiness, filthiness. That is what he's saying interracial marriage is lewdness. Go ahead.
And great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine.
You see that? Lewdness, interracial marriage will lead to things like famine. You understand? Meaning God would judge, that pollutes the land. That's why I said in First Ezra, the pollution of the Gentiles. You understand? The Lord would judge the whole entire land. That's why Nehemiah was slapping people and, you know what I'm saying, choking them up. Plucking her out. Because our forefathers understood the grave danger, the anger that would kindle of the Lord. For real. Now watch this. Go to Sirach 26. Sirach 26 verse 19. Now this was a brother who imitated Solomon. He's saying this based on what we read in Proverbs chapter 5. Read that.
The book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and verse 19.
Come on.
My son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers.
Don't give your strength, meaning your seed, your legacy, to strangers. You understand? You give, because when you make a baby with a white girl, you giving her child your last name. What the hell? You understand? You intermingling your glory with them. He said, don't give that to strangers. Read on.
When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed.
Do what?
Sow it with thine own seed.
Sow it with your own seed. Read on.
Trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
Trusting in the goodness of your stock. You don't got to get with a white girl for your child to have good hair. God got her like the pure wool. You understand? That's your sister. That's the woman of your tribe. You ain't gotta go out there and, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you like Northern Kingdom, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. But still, you know what I'm saying? Don't, what it say? Trusting in the goodness of your stock. You gotta know that reproducing with your people is the best way to go. You don't need your seed to have any attributes of the heathen to make them any better. That's going to diminish the goodness of your stock. That's why we got to be reformed. We got to be renewed in the spirit of our mind. We don't understand or truly believe or have confidence in the goodness of our stock. That's why we got to completely distinguish the white Jesus image out of our damn mind. If only we knew we had the best genetics, the more melanin, the better. The more coarse the hair, the better. You understand? Ain't nothing wrong with a broad nose. Ain't nothing wrong with thick lips. God is the first author of beauty. You understand? He made that in his image. We got to trust in the goodness of our stock. Read on.
So thy race.
So what?
So thy race.
This is why you don't step out and marry with the other nations. You understand? This is why you don't do this. Because by trusting in the goodness of your stock and sticking with your own people, what's going to happen?
So thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified.
This is how you magnify your race. So wait a minute. This in the Bible. The Lord, it is of the will of God to magnify your race. That melting pot, well, okay, you can say melting pot. You understand? Because you do that, you're going to burn. You understand? For real. Don't fall. Don't think that that's a good thing. That's not biblical. That's not of God. That's not of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, you need to be magnifying your race. Read on.
Having the confidence of their good descent.
So the more that we stick with our own women and multiply with our own women and our children, you understand, we keeping it within our stock, the more confident that we would be in our good descent. Trust and believe we have a good descent. We the most talented. We the most beautiful. We the most intelligent. Hell, we God chosen people. Hell, you mean? We got the best descent. But when you make mixed babies and all that, and then the white man able to, with the popular persuasions and television, and you thinking that looks better than just straight melanin. You know what I'm saying? And you get we confused in the mind now. We don't think that our descent is good without a little mixing and mingling. You understand? That's why we got to come back to God's commandments. Our mind got to be reformed. This is how we restore the confidence in our people as a nation, which we lack. All right? So now, go back to 1 Kings chapter 11. So the point is, Solomon knew, and it's all through the scriptures from Genesis. You understand? All the way down. It's understood that there was a great iniquity. 1 Kings 11 and verse 3.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 3.
Come on.
But he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines.
Damn.
And his wives turned away his heart.
Sheesh.
For it came to pass.
So hold on. Go to Deuteronomy 17 and verse 15. So 700 wives, 300 concubines. So he had 40 years to accomplish that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, he put in work. Over the course of 40 years, he managed to knock down 1,000 different women. You understand? Sheesh. And it said, what did it say? And his wives turned away his heart. Watch this. King Solomon knew this too. Deuteronomy 17:15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt in any wise set him a king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother.
So these laws is pertaining to the king that Israel would eventually set up. Read verse 17.
Verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself.
Why?
That his heart turn not away.
And it said Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. You can't cheat God. You can't act like the scriptures won't take effect. I'm giving you this commandment for your good. I know, yeah, you the king, you got all this and that, and you want to, indulge in whatever. Man, I'm telling you, don't multiply wives. They're going to turn you away from me. You understand? Too many. If you got, man, but look, if you got, because we don't know how many he had necessarily at one time. That was over the course of the 40 years. He reached that 1,000 mark, right? But let's say he had 100 at one time. You got 100 wives. It ain't number 24 hours in a day. You understand? And what if 99 of them sweet, fun, funny, attractive? You understand? You know when you vibing with a woman, you'll talk all night with her. You'll chill with her for hours. You know what I'm saying? Bruh, that's going to turn away your... Look, you can't... Listen, he put that law for a reason. Do not multiply wives to yourself just because you're on a throne, because you the king. Listen, that's going to turn your heart away from me. That's what happened with King Solomon. Go back to 1 Kings chapter 11. Read verse 4.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 4.
Read.
For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
Damn, just like Deuteronomy warned us, that's what that's going to do. Read.
And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father.
Now, David did a lot of things, but he didn't do that. Now, watch this. Go to Psalms 138. So we know that David did sin. He committed murder, murdered his brother for his brother's wife. You understand? Took that wife and made Solomon with her. You understand? But it said that David's heart was perfect with the Lord. Let's see how. Psalms 138 verse 7.
The book of Psalms, chapter 138 and verse 7.
Come on.
Though I walk in the midst of trouble, thou wilt revive me.
Right. So this is a psalm of David, by the way. So we said, though I walk in the midst of trouble, thou wilt revive me. Go ahead.
Thou shalt stretch forth thine hand against the wrath of mine enemies.
Read.
And thy right hand shall save me.
Come on.
The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me.
The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. Read it again.
The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me.
Come on.
Thy mercy, O Lord, endureth forever. Forsake not the works of thine own hands.
So even though David sinned, David repented. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The Lord was able to perfect that which concerned David because David was faithful. You understand? David forsook that sin that he committed. All right? And his heart ended up being perfect with the Lord his God, unlike his son. Go back to 1 Kings chapter 11, read verse 5.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 5.
Come on.
For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians.
Ashtoreth, the damn Easter. You understand that the fertility god, the guy with all the damn titties. Solomon, ooh, damn, hold on. Read on.
And after Milcom, the abomination of the Amorites.
Read.
And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father.
Read on.
Then did Solomon build an high place for Shamash, the abomination of Moab.
So he got the damn buildings for them to serve these other guys. Come on.
And the hill that is before Jerusalem.
Read.
And for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
Read.
And likewise did he for all his strange wives.
So he did they put the P on him so strong. He's like, oh, you need a shrine, you need an altar for your idol? Oh yeah, sure. Hey, brothers, build her that little thing so she can pass her children through the fire. The hell is this? That man was hypnotized by that heathen coochie. Go ahead.
Which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods.
So Solomon was responsible. Mind you, this is King Solomon. You understand? So his sin is not just his sin. He is the biggest influence in the earth at this time, let alone for the Israelites. You understand? So him doing this was a bad influence on the nation. You got to understand that this seduced a lot of Israelites, setting up all these damn idolatry quarters in Jerusalem. What the hell? You understand? What it's saying, first Esdras, there be many that run out of their wits for women. That happened to Solomon, but he knew better. But it still happened. Just like Adam, he knew better. Think about it. Let's think about it. Solomon, okay, let's do Adam first. Adam had paradise. Adam had the woman. The woman comes to Adam with what? Idolatry. Adam gives in to idolatry by way of the woman. Remember though, Adam, the Lord breathed into him the breath of life. The wisdom, you understand? Adam had all the same wisdom that Solomon had. Adam named all the creatures. The reason why we call the ant and the Adam. But the woman brought the idols to him and he fell. And through him, we're not immortal. We die. We in this flesh. Because by way of the woman, the man fell to idols. Right? That's Adam. Now watch it. Go to Ecclesiastes 1:1. I wanna get to a certain precept before I just nail that point home. Ecclesiastes 1:1.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 1.
So now this is because we're gonna read where the Lord appeared unto Solomon the third time in concerning this great iniquity, you know, him dealing with all them strange women and going off into idols. So this is post that, him after you know what I'm saying, after looking back on him going the hell off and going astray as he did, all of the knowledge that he accumulated from them other doctrines and all of that. This is him speaking in hindsight, right? So Ecclesiastes 1 verse 1.
The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem.
So this is talking about who? Who was the son of David that was king? Solomon. Jump down to verse 13.
Verse 13.
Go ahead.
And I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven.
So remember what the Lord told Adam. Of the knowledge, what did he say? Of the tree of life you can eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil shalt thou not eat. Adam had all the knowledge given from God, righteousness, holiness. You understand? But he was seduced by the woman to want to go and dibble and dabble with the dark realm. You understand? Solomon, remember, God gave him wisdom of everything, whether it was secret or manifest. He knew biology, astronomy, astrology. He knew all that, all the damn ologies. All the good things that you can aspire to know, God gave him the knowledge. So what the hell was he seeking after? He searched out by wisdom concerning all things. He wanted to know why the heathens did what they did. Why are they into this? Why do they pass their children through the fire? What's significant? You know what I'm saying? He was curious. Finish that verse.
This sore travail hath God given to the sons of man, to be exercised therewith.
Jump down to 17.
Verse 17.
Watch this.
And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly.
So he gave his heart to know wisdom, to know madness and folly. The madness and the folly was what came through the knowledge of idolatry. You understand the doctrines and philosophies of those strange nations. Solomon gave his heart to know those things. And that's how we fell from Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14. The blessing part. Read on.
I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit.
Read.
For in much wisdom is much grief.
This ain't talking about the wisdom of God. You understand? Wisdom is the fountain of life. This is talking about the wisdom of evil. You understand? That he dibbled and dabbled into. It said, in that wisdom is much grief. Read.
And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
You get the dibbling and dabbling in the dark realm. You understand? That's going to weigh down on your mind, on your spirit. That's why the whole tone of Ecclesiastes is much different than Proverbs. Proverbs all upbeat. And my son, do this, don't do that. Da, da, da. Ecclesiastes is like, vanity. It's all vanity. You know what I'm saying? His mind in a whole different place. Because he done dibbled and dabbled with the dark realm. Them damn women. I'm telling you. Go to chapter 2, verse 10.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 2, in verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from them.
Whatever my eyes desired. I didn't refrain myself. Go ahead.
I withheld not my heart from any joy.
Read.
For my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my labor.
Come on.
Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought,
Read.
and on the labor that I had labored to do.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun.
Right. So he not just seeing a positive in everything. He's seeing, man, at the end of the day, this all for nothing. What the hell? You know, his vibe just different. Go ahead.
And I turned myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly.
And madness and folly. Go ahead.
For what can the man do that cometh after the king?
Read.
Even that which have been already done.
So that precept is crazy. Because you got to think, for Solomon, 1,000 women. He went so far off, he got to building the places where they sacrificed unto their idols in Jerusalem, in the land of the Lord, the same land where he built the house of the Lord. You understand? You can only imagine all the stuff that he got into by way of idolatry. He said, it's nothing that a man can do that he hadn't already done. Orgies. Bro, ain't no telling. Bro. Bruh. Go to chapter 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. And let's start at verse 25.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, in verse 25.
Come on.
I applied mine heart to know, and to search, and to seek out wisdom, and the reasoning of things.
And the reason of things. Go ahead.
And to know the wickedness of folly.
And to know the what?
The wickedness of folly.
The tree of life wasn't enough for Solomon, bruh. He had to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which would bring death, which would bring his downfall. He just had to know. He wanted to know the wickedness of folly. Read.
Even of foolishness and madness.
Even of foolishness and madness. He gave his heart to know this stuff. Go ahead.
And I find more bitter than death.
But in hindsight, after all the wisdom that God gave him in conjunction with the madness and folly that he sought out, he said, I find more bitter than death. The what?
The woman.
The what?
The woman.
The what?
The woman whose heart is snares and nets.
So that ain't talking about the righteous woman, a virtuous woman that his mother taught him about. It's talking about the strange woman that he warned everybody else about. She's a narrow pit. Her way is the path to hell. What is saying Joshua 23? They shall be as snares unto you. You understand? Hey, so I find more bitter than death that woman whose heart is as snares and bad. Now that can be an Israelite woman. I just wanted to make sure y'all know that could be an Israelite woman too. You understand? But he putting it out there based on experience, everything that he learned from godly wisdom to madness and folly. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is as snares and bands. Read.
And her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her.
Read.
But the sinner shall be taken by her.
Come on.
Behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found.
So out of 1,000 men, right? It'll be one out of those 1,000 that's upright, that seeks after God. It's still a vast minority. However, out of every 1,000, you'll find one. So out of 10,000, you'll find 10. Out of 20,000, you'll find 20. So on and so forth, right? Read on.
But a woman.
But a what?
But a woman.
Read.
Among all those have I not found.
So out of the thousands of thousands and millions, not a single woman. Solomon said, from the laws of God to the damn statues of Molech, goddamn, I got not one woman that's right. He knew what caused his downfall, y'all. He knew. He understood. Read on.
Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
He made Adam upright. Read.
But they have sought out many
They
inventions.
sought out many idols. You understand? Many wicked inventions by way of evil influences in the earth, which started with what? Idols. The worshiping of idols was the beginning and the end of all sin. All right? Now watch this. Go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. We know this one. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 12.
Come on.
And further, by these, my son, be admonished.
Be admonished by these words. Come on.
Of making many books, there is no end.
Right. So you got the Bible, the book of our fathers, of the laws of God, and then you got the books that the Ammonites study to worship their idol. You got the books that the Egyptians, you can only imagine how many books the damn Egyptians had. You know what I'm saying? You got these. Solomon went into all that. He said, of making many books, there is no end. Read.
And much study is a weariness of the flesh.
Imagine you go from learning the law, statutes, and commandments. Now you trying to understand the damn horoscopes. You reading about when the moon is at this stage and how that affects the Taurus looking ass and the Capricorn and the damn Krishna, the ninth. You know, it's no end. You seek out the wisdom of all the nations, all the different books and doctrines and beliefs. That's gonna take a toll. You gonna be crazy. You gonna be bugged the hell out. And it's amazing, like, it's Negroes out there that's like that. They got bookshelves in their house full of damn Horace, the knowledge of Horace and Isis and my art, and you know what I'm saying? And still don't know or comprehend what it take to get us out of these conditions. Solomon, like, listen, y'all, I'm telling you, don't waste your time with the BS. I did it. Trust me. You understand? Be money. It's gonna do you way more evil than good. All right. Go to 1 Kings 11 and verse 9.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 9.
Come on.
And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
Which had what?
Appeared unto him twice.
Read.
And had commanded him concerning this thing.
So the 2 times the Lord appeared unto him. Now, when you read it, especially the first time, it's like, that just seemed like it was all good. But we went over it when you know what I'm saying, when I touched on it, dealing with the wisdom of Solomon. Remember, Solomon set up groves. You understand? From when he first sat on the throne, that was a thing that he was dealing with. And the Lord came to him like, Solomon, what are you want? What you want? You understand? And Solomon prayed for wisdom. God gave it to him in hopes that he would no longer have any desire to deal with those idols anymore. But he went on, he married that Egyptian woman. You understand? The Lord came to him again. 1 Kings chapter 9. That time he like, Solomon, hey, all right, you go off. Y'all, you gonna lose this land. Y'all gonna become a proverb and astonishment. You understand? For real, the Lord appeared to him twice concerning this thing, concerning idolatry. Go ahead.
That he should not go after other gods.
Read.
But he kept not that which the Lord commanded.
So after them 2 times, the Lord appeared unto him to admonish him concerning idolatry. When he first got on the throne in Gibeah, and I think it was Gibeon, whatever, and in 1 Kings chapter 9, he still wasn't hearkening. Watch this. Titus 3 verse 10. Titus 3 verse 10. So if the Lord coming to you for a 3rd time, that's not an admonition. That 3rd time is judgment. Watch this. Read that.
The book of Titus, chapter 3 and verse 10. A man that is an heretic.
A man that is a heretic. A man that's dealing with other doctrines than the pure doctrine, the good doctrine of the Lord. Read.
After the first and second admonition.
After the what?
The first and second admonition.
After the first and second admonition, the warning, listen, bro, don't do that. Go ahead.
Reject.
Was that it? So, Paul didn't get that out of thin air. The things written aforetime, written for your learning. Solomon is a prime example of that right there. The Lord appeared unto him twice. That 3rd time, it was over. Watch this. Go back to 1 Kings. Read verse 11.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant.
So there is no more admonition. After the 2nd admonition, you do it again, now I gotta reject you. You understand? Hey, the Lord like, hey, that wasn't enough. Them 2 admonitions wasn't enough, brother. I will rend the kingdom from thee. You understand? But watch this, read on.
Verse 12. Notwithstanding in thy days, I will not do it.
While you alive, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna take the kingdom from you while you still living. Read.
For David thy father's sake.
Because of David. You understand? I told him your son I'm gonna if he build a house for my name, so on and so forth, right? We went over that numerous times as well. For David's sake, Lord wouldn't go do nothing to Solomon in that lifetime. You understand? Read on.
But I will rend it out of the hand of thy son.
But I'm gonna take the kingdom from your son. Go ahead.
Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom.
But I ain't gonna take the whole kingdom from him. Go ahead.
But will give one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
Right, and that one tribe had a covenant with another tribe, and then another tribe got kicked out from the other tribe, so they came and joined with that one tribe. So, you know what I'm saying? We gonna deal with that next time. All right, but that's just going to show you the judgment that came from the Lord. Go to Ecclesiastes 10 verse 1. So when we talk about the kingdom being split and all that, I know we go straight to the story, how it unfolded, but spiritually the cause of it was Solomon not hearkening to the two admonitions of the Lord and continuing and going further and further off of the deep end into idolatry. You understand? The Lord said, for that, bruh, I'm going to take the kingdom from your son. You understand? In other words, I'm going to split the kingdom because I'm going to give him a tribe, but the kingdom going to be split. And y'all just don't know all of the, I'm telling you, I'll go back to that right there because one of the main battles that we got with Christians and, you know what I'm saying, with doctrine and confusion, Jews and Gentiles, see? I'm telling the split, it's a stumbling block. For real, though. I'm telling you, bro. Damn, Solomon. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Prophecy is probably, he was going to do it regardless. All right, read what you got.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 1.
This is something that Solomon knew as well. Go ahead.
Dead flies cause the ointment of the apothecary to send forth a stinking savor.
So an apothecary is meant to basically, what's the word? It keeps the scent of the dead from, because a dead person, if you leave him lay down in the street, he gonna stink like a mother. So the purpose of the ointment of the apothecary is to neutralize that. That's how you able to go to a funeral and you don't smell a stinking smell. That's the ointment of the apothecary. But if dead flies get in it, it's gonna be counterproductive. It's gonna cause that ointment to stink, contrary to what it was created for. Watch this.
So doeth a little folly.
What?
So doeth a little folly.
Because flies are little beings. You understand? But they get in that ointment, it would cause a great stink. So does a little folly, read,
him that is in reputation for wisdom and honor.
So Solomon, there was no king like him before him, neither after him. The level of wisdom and honor that he had was incomparable to any king that you've ever heard of. You understand? I know people like, Mansa Musa. Da, da, da. Listen, Mansa Musa don't got books in a Bible that we still reading to this day. You understand? Solomon's wisdom and honor is top tier, to say the least. But guess what? That little folly that he did, all them women going after their gods and all of that, it only mentioned it in terms of, the account in one chapter out of all the chapters that speak about him. You understand? But that, when you think of Solomon, you think of that. You don't just think of the great glory and Bathsheba. I keep saying Bathsheba, the Queen of Sheba falling out when she seen him and all. You don't just think of just that. You don't just think of the riches and the house that he built and all that. More often than not, that's secondary to the main thought. Like, damn, the Solomon who had all the damn wives. You know what I'm saying? That's like really low key the first thing you think of when you think of Solomon, that little folly. You understand it? It severely damages a reputation that you spent years and years and years to build. You understand? Solomon knew that. Watch this. Sirach 47 and verse 20. Come
The
on.
book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 47 and verse 20.
Read.
Thou didst stain thine honor.
Y'all did this what?
Stain thine honor.
So this is carrying on from what we read in the beginning. After it said he bowed his loins unto women and was brought into subjection. By doing that, he stained his honor. Go ahead.
And pollute thy seed.
And what?
Pollute thy seed.
So Solomon, you stained your honor. Like we read about what folly would do. Him that is in reputation for honor and wisdom, he stained that with the folly of interracial marriage and idolatry. And he polluted his seed. Go ahead.
So that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children, and was grieved for thy folly.
Right, that's Ecclesiastes. That's why he was talking like that. He was grieved for his folly. He like, damn, this is vanity. This is vexation of spirit. You understand? I gave my heart to no madness and folly naps and the I don't give a damn about nothing. The hell is this? He was grieved for his folly. Now go back to 1 Kings chapter 11. No, read verse 21. I'm sorry.
Verse 21.
Uh-huh.
So the kingdom was divided.
Like we read that the Lord told him, right? The third time he appeared to him, he was like, I'm going to take the kingdom from you. But in your days, I'm going to let you live out the rest of your days, but I'm going to take the kingdom from your son. But I'm going to give him one tribe. In other words, I'm going to divide the kingdom. Go ahead.
And out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom.
And one of those, check. And one of those kingdoms going to rebel against me, which will lead to them being cast off and becoming Gentiles and the confusion. Man, I'm telling you, it's a rabbit hole. You understand? But we gonna get in. We gonna deal with that next time, Lord's willing. All right. But go back to 1 Kings chapter 11. Let's read verse 14. All of this was due to Solomon being a simp. It said, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. Them Solomon words. Solomon had foresight of the evil that would come by dealing with strange women. Per him, their paths lead to hell. Da, da, da. But he passed on and dealt with them and got punished. Right? The Lord said, I'm going to rend the kingdom from your son. 1 Kings 11 and verse 14.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 14.
Come on.
And the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon,
Read.
Hadad the Edomite.
Uh-huh.
He was the king's seed in Edom.
Read.
For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom.
So in 2 Samuel chapter 8, when David went through Edom and destroyed them, they thought he sent Joab, make sure every male of Edom is destroyed to cut them off. You understand? But it was one little Edomite that escaped. Read on.
Then Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants, which with him, to go into Egypt.
Uh-huh.
Hadad being yet a little child.
Jump down to verse 21.
Verse 21.
Come on.
And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his father,
When he heard David was dead, read.
and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead,
And Joab was dead, read.
Hadad said to Pharaoh, let me depart, that I may go into mine own country.
Let me return to Edom, Pharaoh. Read on.
Then Pharaoh said unto him, but what hast thou lacked with me, that behold, thou seekest to go into thine own country?
Read.
And he answered, nothing. Howbeit, let me go in any wise.
Because the Lord stirred up his spirit. All right, go ahead.
And God stirred him up in other adversaries.
Another adversary. Come on.
Razan, the son of Eliada,
Read.
which fled from his lord Hadazer, king of Zobah.
Read.
And he gathered men unto him and became captain over a band when David slew them of Zobah.
You read that. You read about that in 2 Samuel chapter 8 as well. Read on.
And they went to Damascus and dwelt therein and reigned in Damascus.
Read.
And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did.
Read.
And he abhorred Israel and reigned over Syria.
So towards the end of Solomon's reign, after he went into all that idolatry and the madness and the folly, things started to go south, leading up to his son being raised up in his stead. You understand? Stuff started to go south. The Lord stirred up those enemies, the Edomites, the Syrians. You understand? The people was feeling some type of way about the burdens, because you got to remember, because we covered it, right? In the building of the house of the Lord, he hired a lot of people, and people had to bring tributes every month. So you got to imagine, once the house of the Lord was finished and the other houses that he built, the people still bringing this monthly tribute, and he still got these workers working. Think about it. How was all these houses for his wives, for their idols, was getting built? You understand? So you got to think the people like, hold on, we still bringing the house of the Lord built. Solomon building it. What the hell? So the people got to feel some type of way about that. You know what I'm saying? Stuff was crumbling down towards the end of his reign. All right? He got enemies now. The people complaining. You know what I'm saying? Now he know madness and folly, so he vexed. And I'm telling you, man, toward the end of that reign, it wasn't, it wasn't how, how you be like, damn, remember back in the day. What Boosie say? Back in the day when I wasn't a little boy. It ain't the same no more. For real. So watch this. Baruch chapter 3, verse 13. We're going to end it right here. Because remember, Solomon, one of the meanings of his name is the peaceable one. Right? So he was supposed to have peace all his days. But because of his folly, because of his sin, he didn't want to hearken to the admonitions of the Lord. He got enemies stirred up against him. Right? So his son wasn't set up how he was set up to be able to reign in a peaceable time or whatever. His son wasn't raised up in that same estate. All right? Read what you got.
The book of Baruch, chapter 3, and verse 13.
Go ahead.
For if thou hadst walked in the way of God.
Right. For example, Solomon, if he would have said, man, let me put this damn Egyptian woman away. To hell with them damn Edomites and Moabites and them, and I'm going to love my women, the Israelite woman. If he would have hearkened to the second admonition, you know what I'm saying? Read.
Thou shouldest have dwelled in peace forever.
We would have still been in the first half of Deuteronomy 28. we wouldn't have made it past 14. You understand? But that just goes to show you, man. I'm telling you, bro. Women, bro. Let's end with this from Sirach 19, verse 2. Sirach chapter 9. This is what we can learn ultimately from Solomon. Read that.
The book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 19 and verse 2.
Read.
Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away.
So be admonished. All right, if you're a man of understanding, the Lord dealing with you, he put the spirit of wisdom upon you, right? You wise and you teach many. Understand from the beginning of time, literally. You understand? And the wisest man that ever walked the earth beside Jesus, which was, but anyway, what caused Solomon to fall away? Women. women. For Israel, for the kings, it was always women and idols. You understand? Always. Wine and women cause men of understanding to fall away. Go ahead.
And he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent.
Right. It does something to your spirit. You give your strength unto women. You diminish your intelligence. You understand? By cleaving to harlots. So, hey, the things written aforetime, written for our learning. Let's learn from our mighty, wise, brilliant, marvelous simp forefather Solomon. Simping Solomon. You understand? Wise and teaching many, but was unprofitable to himself. We got to learn. Through patience and comfort of the scriptures, we might have hope. Because, damn, I'm telling you today, I mean, it's like you still see it. So, Lord Jesus, let's meditate. Let's learn from this, brothers, all right? Lord's one of y'all was edified. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless.
Vanity of vanities, maybe all on my mind. All this oppression that I see, it make me mad cause I'm wise. These evil things, I'm not at ease. Is this a sign of the times? Or is the highest telling me just like the sun when it rises? Ain't none of that new. Whoa, ain't none of that new. Not even you. So what you gonna do? Shout out King Solomon. Ain't none of that new. Said the preacher. In the conclusion, fighting delusions. Too many books is weariness to me. It's too much confusion, the truth is translucent. Is there anything made that can be said? Yo, this a new one. No, they hope it's to exalt the vision, but they know they gon' fall. Weapons not carnal, but no, this ain't battle rap. Judas God's battle axe, lying back in his habitat. This world is vanity. It's really vexation of my spirit. If it ain't part of them 80 books, y'all know I don't come near it. I gave my heart to know all things that was ever made. But this lust still cover me like a Florida Everglade. I guess I'm back to the basics, coming up out of the matrix. I gave my mind to wisdom, but probably I'm supposed to be hating it. Keep your foot when you step to the house of God. Hear the word at the Lord's mouth. Oppression got me like, whoa now. Wisdom make a man face shine. It's nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes. Vanity of vanity.